Happy New Year and welcome to Leezah's Lair. The avatar in front of you is named LeezahSmiles in the virtual world of Second Life, and you have reached my channel. This is a channel for the older adults who are residents in Second Life, and I hope that you enjoyed your Happy New Year celebration and that you're ready for a brand new direction in your Second Life. And so watch the other video that I put up yesterday where I was asking Second Life residents to give their resolutions for how they plan to change their experience in Second Life, how they plan to make it better, suggestions that they'd have for other residents. Maybe some people who are visiting this channel are new to Second Life, or maybe they're returning to Second Life after an extended absence. So put your comments in that video and I'll link to it below. The topic of this video is, what are the most common questions that you get from other Second Life residents? Are there any questions that you get over and over again when you're meeting Second Life residents? If so, put those comments below, and I'm very interested in knowing what are some of the questions that you get repeatedly. One of the questions that I get repeatedly in Second Life is that I'm asked if I am a man in real life, which is really interesting because I'm usually asked that during conversations where the conversation is probably intense and I'm making, very forceful opinions and informed opinions. And so I suppose if you are a person who's confident in what your views are, that maybe people think that a man is typing at the keyboard. I'm not quite sure about that, but I have gotten that question from time to time in Second Life. Another question that I get very often in Second Life is I'm asked about why I don't do any online dating. Somehow online dating comes up in a lot of conversations with Second Life residents, I guess because a lot of people are meeting and dating within the virtual space, and usually people who are doing that in this virtual world are also people who are interested in online dating and the online dating sites, and they've got profiles on different sites and things like that. And so I think that's probably why that conversation comes up pretty often. I usually tell people that I'm just not interested in online dating at all because I just would rather meet people in person. I think my instincts are a lot stronger when I'm interacting with somebody in person as opposed to just relating to and reacting to their text on screen. And also, I think online profiles in general tend to be like you're sending in your resume to an employer, and on your resume you're putting on your highlights of what you think is going to sell you most effectively. And that's kind of how I view online profiles, as people are just coming up with whatever they think is a short commercial about themselves that will sell themselves. And I think that yes, people can do that when you meet in person, but that usually only lasts after one or two conversations. After that, it starts becoming a little redundant if you're interacting with somebody that you're trying to get to know and they're just marketing themselves in all of the conversation. Also, have you ever interacted with someone and they're always checking their phone? They always have to see every single notification that they get. They're never really fully engaged in the conversation. I think that sometimes there are those people who are just so used to being online most of their waking hours that they're really not able to disconnect totally from all online activity and just interact one-to-one in person. It is so rare to meet somebody and have a conversation for an hour or two and no one has looked at their phone, discussed social media. It is becoming increasingly rare. So I think those are probably my reasons. But if you have some questions that you get all the time, be sure to put them below. As I mentioned, I'm interested in seeing what your responses are to those questions when you get them. I I also get asked about my profile. I think that a lot of Second Life residents feel that whatever is in your profile is very, very important, and I can tend to agree. It certainly is a conversation starter when you read someone's profile to ask them about things in in their profile. So I do get questions about that as well. And then, as you know, most of you have probably gotten questions where people are asking where you're from, which country you're in, what part of the country. If you're in this country, a lot of Second Life residents, but certainly not all, are in the U.S. And so typically people will ask, what part of the country are you in? How long have you been in there? Those types of general questions. But I do get quite a few questions about some of the things that I've lifted in my profile, and also I don't put anything about my offline existence in my profile. And so sometimes people will ask, well, how come you haven't put any details about that in your profile? One question that I would have that relates to this topic is, do you feel that the longer you are in Second Life, the more your relationships are substantial in Second Life? Are your friendships more substantial the longer you're in Second Life? Or do you just continue to expand your social network to many different people, but it stays pretty much at one specific level? Put your comments below about that. I think that that would be interesting for people, particularly who are returning to Second Life, to know what other people's experiences have been. Thank you again for visiting Leezah's Lair. I hope you'll put your comments below and let me know about your experiences. I'm sure other people would be interested in reading them. And watch the other video that I put up about, what your resolutions will be for Second Life this year. Thanks for watching.